our minds on the ultimate goal, for it is a noble one. We should resolve, he said, to do our best for God and our country. The declaration has at last come after so many years of Cold War. Uganda is at war, economic war. The imperialists and their agents have been kicked out of their seats, and Ugandans have come out wholeheartedly in support of His Excellency General Idi Amin Dada, the President of the Second Republic of Uganda. The brave general has made up his mind. He would not sit down and watch his people tormented by the colonialists, neo-colonialists, and Zionists. The country's economy must be run by citizens. All non-citizen Asians must leave within 90 days, the president declared at Tororo Army Barracks on his way from Iriri, the provincial town of Karamoja. It was at the command post number 10 on the 8th of August 1972 where His Excellency General Idi Amin Dada, the President of the Second Republic of Uganda, invited cabinet ministers, the British High Commissioner to Uganda, Mr. Richard Slater, the Indian High Commissioner to Uganda, Mr. Dharam Deva, the Pakistani Ambassador, Marshal Kalba Khan, senior government officials, leaders of the Asian community in Uganda, and many international journalists at a luncheon. Before lunch, His Excellency the President was introduced to the British and Indian High Commissioners, the Pakistani ambassador, and also the leaders of the Asian community in Uganda. It was after lunch that His Excellency the President disclosed that he had signed a decree revoking, with effect from the 8th of August 1972, all entry permits and certificates of residence which had been granted to nationals of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Asians holding British passports. He said that from that date, the above persons concerned were permitted only to stay in Uganda for a maximum period of 90 days. The general stressed that any of those people who were still in Uganda after the 90 days would be doing so illegally and would face the consequences. However, he pointed out to his guests that the government was not requesting them to leave Uganda because of racialism. He assured them that Ugandans are not racists. The government took this decision purely in the interests of the economy of the country, and that it had the full support of the entire 10 million Ugandans. The President of Uganda believes that no country can, in the true sense, be independent if its economy is controlled by non-citizens. The Asians had also used their family ties, their languages, which are unknown to Ugandans, to exclude Ugandan Africans from the business life of their own country. They have refused to identify themselves with Uganda. The general gave an example that at independence time, when they were offered the chance to become Ugandan citizens, the majority rejected the offer and preferred to take British citizenship. Some of the few who became citizens of Uganda did so only half-heartedly, as they had no faith in the country. The president went on to say that the main interest of Asians in this country was to exploit the economy, to export illegally large sums of money from this country. Lastly, His Excellency General Idi Amin Dada assured the British that he was their best friend, and also added that your best friend is the one who points out your mistakes. Thousands of Ugandans were overjoyed. the Satan was overpowered and the imperialists and Zionists silenced, at least for a while. All over the country, citizens danced with joy, singing songs of their great and brave general. Some charged the Asians with having caused the war and urged the general to cut down the 90 days so as to rid the country of the imperialist agents. The old, the young, the ex-servicemen were with the president in spirit and deed to fight to the last for their general and their motherland, Uganda. Uganda was not alone in this struggle. Different African leaders came in person to give our great leader moral support. As President Mobutu Sese Seko set his foot on Ugandan soil, thousands of Ugandan and Zairean people who awaited him at Entebbe International Airport grew mad with joy. Their shouts were only Amin Oye, Mobutu Oye. On arrival, His Excellency General Idi Amin Dada and Moses, his little son, were there to meet him. A 21-gun salute boomed out to welcome him. The president warmly welcomed his guest and presented ministers, diplomats, and senior government officials.
My Excellency, guard of honor, ready for your inspection, Your Excellency.
The visitor, accompanied by President Amin and other senior army officers, inspected a guard of honor mounted by men of Ugandan Armed Forces. After this, His Excellency President Mobutu paused to look at the wonderful traditional dances on his way to the VIP lounge. President Mobutu, answering questions by journalists, said that he fully supported his brother Amin. It was not wrong for the Ugandan government to send away the non-citizen Asians. The Ugandan Libyan Development Bank, a project financed by both countries to promote trade and development, was the second of such banks to be opened by His Excellency General Idi Amin Dada. The first was the Uganda Development Bank. To ensure that all Ugandan citizens who wish to participate in the country's economic development have a place to get cash, the government invested millions of shillings in both these banks. The bank's main task is to help those Ugandans who are less known and yet determined to participate in trade or any other development project to obtain cash. As His Excellency Major General Siad Barre, the President of the Somali Republic, arrived at Entebbe International Airport, he received a tumultuous welcome from thousands of Ugandan and Somali nationals. A 21-gun salute boomed as the two leaders embraced. President Barre was accompanied by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Omarate Galib. Also with the Somali President was the OAU Secretary General, Mr. Nzo Ekangaki. Ugandan ministers, diplomats, and government senior officials were then presented to the great guest. the two presidents took the salute as the national anthems were played by the Uganda Police Band. The Guard of Honor was then inspected. It was mounted by men of Uganda's Armed Forces. The president was conducted to the VIP lounge. He waved cheerfully to the jubilant crowd and the Ugandan traditional dancers.